He's one of the most famous basketball players. Hey, he's one of the most famous sports people of all time. And now there's a 4-part documentary about him on Apple TV+. Do you know what? They'll never call me this, but they call him Magic.
Introducing the towering point guard from the Midwest, number 32, Irvin Magic Johnson. It's showtime!
Hi there, Tim from Screen OD here. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we can make your day even better with a recommendation of something good to watch in the shape of They Call Me Magic, the new 4-part documentary from Apple TV+. Before we get going, just a reminder, if you love great TV and movies, we have them all here on Screen OD, so do subscribe to the channel. And if you like the video, why not hit that like button and share the love with others across the internet. Right, let's get going. What's They Call Me Magic all about then? After the huge success of the 2020 Netflix ESPN series The Last Dance, which follows the last season of Michael Jordan at the Chicago Bulls, it's no wonder that the streamers are out there looking for the next big award-winning documentary about basketball. And in Earvin Magic Johnson, it feels like Apple TV Plus have found a very worthy subject. I think the first thing that everyone asks themselves before they go to watch a documentary, especially when it's about a sports person, is do I need to know lots about this subject before I watch the documentary? Do I need to go and watch 10 games of basketball and read the rule book before I can enjoy it? And the answer to that is the same as I think the answer was to The Last Dance. The answer is no. You don't need to know anything about basketball to enjoy this series. In fact, I knew dozens of people who watched The Last Dance here in the UK, where basketball isn't a particularly mainstream sport that people watch all the time, and they absolutely loved it. They devoured it, not just because Michael Jordan is someone who they have heard of, and not just because basketball is an exciting and interesting game once you start watching it, but because the storytelling is so brilliant, and the relationships in the show are so brilliant, and the subjects are worth watching and keep you watching. Now that's exactly the same in this series. Earvin Magic Johnson is a fascinating character. He is someone who transcends the sport from which he became famous playing to go on to do so much more. There is, of course, the story of his HIV diagnosis, but there is also his philanthropy and just the volume of people involved in this documentary who want to talk about Magic Johnson show you that he is someone who goes far beyond sport. Therefore, you don't need to know basketball to enjoy this series. This is the story of one of the iconic basketball players of the modern age, someone who was nicknamed Magic by a sports journalist, and through his humility thought that won't ever stick, as he describes in the series. Now, of course, it did stick, and Magic he was, becoming one of the greatest players at the LA Lakers. We hear about the early life of Earvin Johnson long before he was Magic, not just from the people who knew him back then and his family, but also from Johnson himself, who is present throughout this whole documentary. We hear about him growing up in Lansing, Michigan, going to play for Michigan State University before the excitement and the electricity of the NBA come calling for him. And then a huge focus of the show is on his time at the LA Lakers as part of one of the great teams that would play in the sport.
Let's go to Magic.
First of all, let me say good late afternoon. Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers.
The documentary then moves on to a new level as we start to hear about his HIV diagnosis, someone at the top of the sporting game in the early 1990s who has to publicly deal with this positive HIV diagnosis and has to work around what the consequences will be for him and his family going forward. And it's at this point that you see that Earvin Magic Johnson is someone who is rightfully at the centre of a documentary. He is the perfect subject because that drive, that passion and that determination that made him one of the greatest basketball players in the world, he translates beyond his sporting career, not only to deal with the adversity of his health and the things that are going on around him, but also to be able to continue to drive forward, to become a philanthropist, to become an activist, and to be a business person who is successful. Now, all of those things make him a fascinating person to watch.
To see somebody who has HIV on the dream team?
He drove me to be a better basketball player.
He's always thinking about the next move.
This is a movie complex built by Magic Johnson in the Crenshaw district of LA.
It's in the middle of the Bloods and the Crips. We can't have violence. I said, call the heads, I want to have breakfast.
okay, you sure now? I said, yeah.
And if you don't believe me, you only have to have a look at some of the people involved in the documentary to understand just what an impact Irvin Magic Johnson has had on lots of different people, from Barack Obama, who talks about him, to LL Cool J and Snoop Dogg, to Shaquille O'Neal, to Samuel L. Jackson. There are a huge amount of names in this show talking about the cultural impact that Magic Johnson has had on America and on the world far beyond the basketball court. And so if you're looking for a new documentary to entertain and inform you, then I would suggest you could do a lot worse than head over to Apple TV Plus now and watch They Call Me Magic. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, why not hit that like button and maybe, subscribe to the channel. Go and check out all the TV and movie recommendations on your favourite streaming services across the Screen OD channel. There's lots of it to get through, so if you start now, you might be able to watch them all before we get to the next new video. Until then, we'll see ya.